Welcome back to your favorite St. Louis sports podcast, The Lounatics. I'm your host, Tyler, with my friend and co-host, John, after a short absence on our recording stretch. Thanks to me, kudos of a bunch of things going on in my life, so John was kind enough to wait for me to start recording, whereas I just tried to replace him when he had stuff going on in his life.
I mean, I'm still representing on other formats. But I see the Parker Pilsner that you're drinking there tonight. Wonderful
Yes.
choice. But I figured since we're celebrating, and what I do here when we celebrate is I double fist. So I have two options that I'm drinking tonight. The first one, you probably heard me crack my beer. Just Almond Joy 4-hand stout. Not my favorite of that pack, but it's fine. And in my other hand, so you were busy getting an MBA for the last 3 weeks, just the last 3 weeks, not several years.
I did the whole degree in 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's quite impressive, actually.
Accelerated program.
Accelerated, an executive MBA, as they say in the biz. Well, a few years ago, I did an MBA, and when I graduated, my father-in-law bought me a bottle of Henry McKenna, 10-year, small batch. So, to celebrate for you, I had a pour of my Henry McKenna tonight.
Cheers to that, my friend. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. You are welcome. I need good excuses to drink it because I save it for, because it was a gift for, celebrating, and don't want to just drink it to drink it.
Yeah, I got a couple bottles savor it. Up on the rack that I'm waiting to open for something good, but don't know if I'll actually manage to wait for that good thing or if I'll just get antsy and open them anyway.
Probably the latter.
I got enough bottles up there. I got some time.
Yeah, you do. I see the Blue Chair Bay. I've never noticed that before. Up on the top, the Kenny Chesney rum.
Yeah, so that's that blue one is the coconut rum. There's a teal bottle behind it that's pineapple cream that Lindsay uses to make pina coladas.
Good to know. I don't like either of those flavors. I do like the color teal. Part of why I like the currant. They are, apart from being just really freaking cool in general, color is elite. So, unfortunately, we now can't have teal. That makes me sad.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some. I did try to tell Lindsay, though, that if I were to win like one of those $1 billion Powerball jackpots, that I'm going to Carolyn Kendall with $50 million saying, here's my down payment for an NWSL team.
Absolutely. And 25 million of it was from you, and the other 25 million of it was going to be from what you give to me to give to her for my portion. So that's very kind of you. And I appreciate got us both you publicly affirming this. Yeah, now.
I mean, all I want in return is, seats to every city and the new NWSL team, which I would like to help name.
Yeah. What would you name it? Serious question.
Serious question. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to put me on the spot here.
Come on, you can't tell me you have not thought of what you would name this team. Don't fucking lie.
What would you name it, since you're putting me on the spot?
Oh, I'd name it the Fleurs, and it'd be a fleur-de-lis. But if I could come up with something like feminine, but also like intimidating sounding, like the Thorns, Portland Thorns,
I love the Portland Thorns. That's a great team name.
I'm going to admit right now, and it's not even an admission, it's just like stating the obvious. The NWSL kills it so much better than MLS, both in the naming and just like the badges and overall branding of each of its teams. They're all really good, and MLS is not that way.
Yeah.
It's my TED Talk.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk today.
Yeah, that's right.
That's it. So thanks for coming.
That's it, guys, for time recording. It's been 3 weeks. We'll see you next month.
Yeah. No, my thing is I've really struggled to come up with a name, because every time I come up with one, I get really nitpicky with it, and I just can't decide.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll give you one before the end of the episode.
I'll get it right after we finish, then, by our standards.
Hey, no, that was your standard. That was your standard. I have
what's mine.
So for those of you who are unaware, because John didn't pick what beer he wanted, I got to pick which beer he got, which means that I just mixed up the packs, and now I have a miscellaneous 6-pack sitting on my bar for him.
It's 2 of each, right? Like it's not like 3 of one of another.
No, you'll figure it out.
It better be 2 of each. Like my OCD brain can't handle that.
Nope, can't do that.
Better be 2 of each.
Nope, it's 3, 2, and 1.
Which one's the one?
Brilligans.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, so you got 3 s'mores, you've got 2 of the Boulevard Stouts and 1 of the Brilligans.
Have you popped the s'mores? Is it good?
I haven't. If I get through this before we're done recording, I'll run over and pop it while you can, and let you go on a rant for a minute. I'll let you know if it's any good.
Okay, that sounds good. That is either elite or it's like trash. There's like no in between, right? Like it has to be one or the other. There's no like this is okay.
Yeah, no. If you go crazy with your beer flavors, like it's either amazing or it's just like, oh my god, I'm gonna wait for somebody to come over to my house and be like, oh, you should try this, and then walk away.
I mean, to be fair, one of these 4 Hands beers is chocolate and marshmallow, not graham cracker, which you need for the s'mores. So, and I did like that a lot. So it starts off strong. We'll see. We'll let you guys know. Contrary to popular belief, though, we are not a vlog where we just get drunk and talk about alcohol.
No, we also get drunk and talk about sports.
Yes. Yeah. It's a both thing, not either or. Both.
Yeah. And unless we have a guest on that is uncomfortable with drinking, in which case I would pause drinking for that.
I would do that too.
I'm a respectful. I can be respectful. Not to you, John.
You
but
just
to
choose
other
not to. Yeah, you can be. You just choose not to. I get it.
With all of that, let's talk about your hat.
Yes.
And why it doesn't just say STL in some big awkward block letters.
Oh, did I? Okay, first off, honest opinion. What do you think about the jersey?
I give it a 6 out of 10.
Why do you? What would make it better?
For me,
and we're talking about the City Connect jerseys. For those of you who did not,
those of you unaware,
unintended.
It wasn't, but he's going to claim it.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't have a soundboard, so I have to do my own soundboard noises. Sorry, everyone. Meow. So the St. Louis Cardinals and MLB released their City Connect jerseys. And if I'm being honest, I don't hate them. I just feel like it's really safe. And I wanted something really crazy and out there. And I knew it was going to be a red jersey like this. Like, I just knew this is what it was probably going to look like. I love the Lou on the front. I think that's I think that's cool. I like it. I'm a fan of saying the Lou instead of St. Louis or whatever. I think it's better.
You're so cultured.
Yeah, I know. It's better than some of the other things that are out there. And it's definitely not the worst City Connect jersey. I like the little pinstriping things. I would have liked it better if we could have gotten like navy pinstriping or gray river pinstriping, something that would have just popped a little more, or white, because
I've been told it pops a lot more in person than it does in pictures.
And that could be like the away kits from last year with St. Louis City, where like at first from it, like on TV, it just looks like a gray kit, but then when you see it in person, you can actually see the striping. Which was a nice touch, because I liked it way better in person than I did at first glance.
I do like that the pinstripes are like curvy, like the river, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do like that. My issue with the jersey is like, okay, if they'd said like that, like if this was not a City Connect jersey, if this was just them saying, hey, we're going to get rid of the spring training jersey, we're going to bring in a new red jersey, and this is what they came out with, I'd probably like it. That's the problem. The problem is that it looks like something that we would already wear. It doesn't look like something special, right?
You know what I wanted? And I've said this before, and you hate this because you don't like pinstripes, and I love pinstriping.
Accurate.
I wanted to do something like really bold, like a powder blue or a navy with red pinstriping. I know.
Yeah, for those of you that are listening and not watching,
John just made the
winced.
most. Yeah, it
Yeah.
looked like somebody had actually stabbed him in the kidney.
Yeah. Good thing I have a second one. As far as I know, at least.
For now.
For now, right. I will say, and I'll send you a picture of this, there is an alternate hat that is quote unquote a secondary hat. It's not in any of the official like images that they've put out, but I've seen a guy that I follow on Twitter like posted some photos of this hat that's clearly City Connect related. It's got the fleur de lis patch that's on it with the arch, and that's what's here in the center instead of just STL. And I do like the STL. I get why they chose that font. It's a throwback to the Negro Leagues, to the St. Louis Stars, and the font that they were using across the jerseys. My problem with it is that this font and then this font across the chest are different.
They don't match. Yes, that's
they
my
don't match.
issue.
It clashes. And if they'd come out with the other hat, like, and made that the City Connect hat, like, I think it would have just completed the look.
And the socks have the same. The socks have
Yes.
that same font as the STL on the hat.
Yeah.
I also think if they would have done like the Lou or something in that font, well, it wouldn't have like looked as like creative and flowy on the jersey, which is I think what they were going for. Like again, they just needed to carry it through across the uniform, right? Like it was just I struggled with the.
And the reason they chose the creative and flowy font is that it's similar to the fonts we already use. In fact, I think it's probably the same font that the St. Louis is in on the blue and the cream alternates, right?
I think it is, yeah.
So, and again, that's why it feels like something that we would have just come up with ourselves. It just doesn't
felt too
feel
safe.
like a City Connect. Yeah, it's too safe. Although, as Katie Wu said on Twitter, who covers the Cardinals for The Athletic, I feel like you're obligated to say that when you say her name.
She's awesome.
It's consistent with every decision the Cardinals have like made in the last 20 years. It's safe.
Yeah.
So
it is. And now some of the other pictures and something I'm intrigued to see is the pants. It looks like they're going to wear white pants with red piping, like a red piping on the outside of the leg, which I think will be a really nice touch. It's just like a single. It's a single red stripe on the outside leg, and I think it'll make the uniform pop more as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're probably right about that. I prefer when they match, usually, not always.
So you want red pants?
Probably.
With the river
waves, with the river pinstripes, yeah. That's what I lean towards, but I am willing to wait and see it in person, or whatever pictures of it.
I can see that
all together.
I still think they should have done something totally off the wall. Like I said, navy jersey and pants with red pinstripes.
Right. Well, and let's be clear.
I think it would have been more fun.
Like, this is better than, say, Baltimore's, which is just a plain black jersey that says Baltimore, right? It's better than the Dodgers, which
just says Los Dodgers.
Los Dodgers, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Los Dodgers, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's some pretty bad ones, but there's some awesome ones. Because, like, you look at the White Sox that says Southside.
Yeah. That's the best. That's definitely the best one.
Miami's
yeah.
Amazing with the Sugar King references.
Yep. Los Serpientes for the D-backs.
Those ones are good. The Rockies are amazing.
I like the Rockies. I also really like
Washington, D.C.
I like DC's a lot. Yeah, I do like DC's. And I like the one that the Mets just came out with, too.
I don't know if I caught theirs. Oh, man, I feel stupid.
You'll like it. You can Google it after this.
More so than I did 5 minutes ago.
Come on, this is a uniform and jersey podcast, and you're not even up on the newest jerseys and uniforms. Shame.
That's it. I'm going to pack my shit and go home.
That makes sense. I need to upgrade my co-host.
So back to while we're still talking about the Cardinals and safe decisions, how are you feeling which is at the quarter point of the season, 25% of the way through? How do you feel?
Not great. I feel really good about the last 7 days or so, 8 days. Not feeling that great about the whole season. I saw a stat that and I don't remember what the record is, but we have a very strong record since Ollie was ejected a few weeks ago, which is nice.
So since we won that last game against Milwaukee, we won that game.
Yes, right.
We took 2 of 3 from who do we play after that? I don't remember. That was the tail end of that road trip. Then we came home and took 2 of 3, and then we won the first one against the Baltimore. But we've won 6 of our last 8.
Let's see.
Milwaukee, tonight,
LA Angels, Boston, now Baltimore. Baltimore.
So we went. So we're 6 for our last 8 win wise. We're tied 1-1 in this rain delay right now. So who knows if by the time we publish this, if the game was finished or not, or if they decided to do something else. Which sucks is we could be up 1-0, but there was an error on Gorman that bounced off his glove. I mean, it was a weird hop, but bounced off his glove, went out into the outfield, but the guy was trucking, ended up on second base and scored on a single. So
it's impressive in a very sad way. So I will say this: you realize that we've gone into the final game of a series like 5 times with the chance for a sweep and not gotten the sweep each time.
Yeah, I know. It's to me, it feels like we still lack that killer instinct.
Yeah, we're not putting teams away. No, I would agree.
And you and I talked about getting somebody like Sonny Gray, getting a guy like Lance Lynn, and getting that trying to inject that attitude.
Yes,
and they I think feel like doing it from a pitching staff point of view, and our pitching staff has been better than last year. I would not say it's been great. The bullpen has been very good. Has been very good. Our starting pitchers are either lights out or not.
I would say our starting pitchers have been better than last year, though. They've not been great, but it's an improvement. Yeah, they are better, but the bar is so freaking low that it's like, of course you're better.
Yeah. And in that you look at what people like Jordan Hicks are doing. If you haven't
he's
looked
playing
at his,
lights out
his
for the San Francisco
line,
Giants. Yeah, no, it's absurd, and here's the thing: he wasn't doing it here, but we are getting to
when
the
was
point.
When was he given the chance to start here?
He started like most of 2022, like the first half of 2022. He was a starter here.
I get that, right?
Well,
but short hook,
he started.
He had a chance to start. But my question is what did they do that we didn't? Like, they had him develop another pitch in this
he already had a 5-pit arsenal, right? Because his best pitch is not actually his fastball. His best pitch is actually his slider. The problem is that when you're throwing 102, you kind of have to throw your fastball a lot. Now, and maybe no one pointed this out to him when he played here. There's a really good video on Talking Baseball about how Jordan Hicks tips his pitches, right? That Trevor Plouffe, who is on Talking Baseball, who's a former Major League player, like in spring training of his last season, figured out that Jordan Hicks was tipping his pitches, and then like 3 years later posted a video about it, for content purposes. I can associate with that. And maybe no one told him, and maybe he has other tells. I don't know.
I'm not blaming Jordan Hicks for any of this.
Well, I'm not either, but
I think our coaching staff was missing something with him.
Right.
But it's the same thing. Flaherty's having a great start to the season, but we knew Flaherty he just couldn't stay healthy.
Is he having a great start? The last time I looked at his stat line, it was not great. But now I'm pulling it up because now you've got me interested. Tyler O'Neill is having a great start to his season, though. He is killing it. Oh, wait, he's not with Baltimore. He's with Detroit now, isn't he?
Yep.
Because he dominated us.
So he's got a 3.79 ERA. He's only 1-3, but that's not necessarily his fault. It's a run support issue.
Yeah, that's not a great start. That's a okay start. You're not bad, but that's not great.
It's better than most of our starters.
Well, no, I don't. That was not what you said. You said he was having a great start to his year. That is not a great start.
a sub 4 ERA is a great start for 95% of pitchers.
No, that is an okay to good. Once you hit the 3.5 and under, you're having a good season. So if you're sub 4, I think you're okay. Like you're not having a bad season. You just are, right? You hit 3.5, you start being good. You hit sub 3, now we're
better.
talking.
It's been better recently too, because like you said, he started his first couple of starts, he got absolutely lit up.
Right.
So I think one of his like second start of the season got lit up for like 8 runs. Well, he's only given up 25 runs all year. So when you give up 8 runs in one of those starts, the rest of the starts are pretty solid. So you also have to take that into account.
You know who is not having a great start to his year, though? Monty. Having a great start.
Yeah, he also fired Boris.
Right. He missed most of spring, right? Like, because the season had already started when he signed, if I remember right.
Yeah, because Boris kept telling him to hold out.
Yep.
Good job, Boris.
Yeah, and now he's probably, he's going to have to really turn around. He's got a 4.98 ERA. He's already 34 innings in, Like, he's going to have to absolutely shove for the rest of the year to get that down to, where he's been the last few years. And if you're looking, like, trying to get another payday, like, you have to get that improved.
Yeah, he needed to cash in, and he should have taken a little less than what he looked for because he had offers, and Boris told him no.
Absolutely.
That's what happens when you get bad advice. So for all of you listening to the podcast, I'm sorry that we're all giving you bad tips and advice.
I heard a lot of the guys that had him this offseason have fired him after because they all ended up taking less. But our pitching has been better, but our hitting, though, has been a letdown.
We've been hitting.
Though they've been better the last week. We have been hitting for the last 7 days. Nolan Arenado has been hitting the whole season. It's just not going very far.
I think he's got 2 or 3. I think he's got like 3 or 4, 3 home runs now.
3 home runs, yeah. But take a guess what his OPS is.
650.
It's actually a little bit better than that. But it is sub 7. It's 696.
That's not a bad random guess off the top of my head, though.
No, it's not. I'm actually really impressed.
I've been watching a lot of Cardinals baseball, even though they suck.
So that's really, I'm proud of you. That takes a lot of commitment, But then again, you are a content creator for them. Like, this is research. It's work. It's no longer for fun. It's because it's work, right?
Yeah, well, we've made exactly $0 on this podcast, so
I'm pretty sure we've made $- on this podcast.
We have made $- on this podcast.
We've made $. That's fine.
But it's fine because you know what? I get to talk to my best friend and tell him that he doesn't know anything about sports. And then he gets to tell me how he knows more than me. And it just goes back and forth and round we go.
Yeah, exactly. What more could you ask for out of a side job, right?
A side job that doesn't pay you anything.
That's right. Money would probably be what you
could
ask for.
Money. Yeah, no.
You could ask for money.
Yeah. You could ask, but it's not. This is not the side job for you.
Right. But he's got a 270 batting average. He just isn't drawing a lot of walks, and he's not hitting for power. And
Mason Wynn's been solid this year.
Yeah. He's been really good, actually. He's probably been the best batter on the team, honestly. He's got 288 average. Only a 394 slug, which I think is a little bit
less.
Matt
Carpenter's batting like 270, man, so slow down.
Yeah, but Carpenter has 30 at bat, so context. Burley, on the other hand.
Burley's played real well.
Burley's been playing really well. I'm a little disappointed in Donnie, to be honest. He's still drawing a lot of walks, but he's not making enough good contact.
Right off at the beginning of the season, he was hitting really well. He had a real rough couple of weeks, and he started to come back after it. He's doing better. He's looking a little better. Newt, with his injury, didn't really get a great start, but he's starting to pick. The whole team is starting to come back around hitting wise. I
would not say that Goldie is coming around.
He's making better contact with the ball the last so he went over
but not even a week, like the last 3 or 4 days.
So the end of middle to end of last week, what was the off day? Was it Thursday? Was their off day?
Yeah. Yeah, I
He
believe
went over
so.
to Jim Edmonds' house and went to the batting cage with Jim Edmonds and worked with Jim Edmonds for like all day. And Jim Edmonds is like, dude, you're focused. You and everyone else are too focused on your hands. Look at your feet. Your balance is off.
Right.
And Jim Edmonds came on and did an interview and was talking about it. He's like, once your balance is off, everything's off. So yeah, you can't fix your hands because your lower half's not right.
Well,
And
and
he
I've
made some adjustments and he's looked better the last few games. So part of me wonders if what Jim gave him actually made a difference.
I was reading, or was I listening? I don't remember. There was something late last week about how um, the Cardinals had been as like kind of like the approach that they'd been given to players this year was to swing upward, try to get the ball in the air more, right? And the problem with that is when like you start screwing too much with how guys swing naturally. Like the way they swing is what got all of them into the majors and gave them successful careers. So like I don't know, I'm not really the kind that's like wanting to really mess with guys' swing other than fixing the mechanics that like if they break away from their normal mechanics is getting them back to that. You know what I mean? Like Pujols. Pujols had 9 years of real sucky baseball in LA and then came back to us and had a dominant last 3 months of his career, and it was because he realized that he was kicking his leg differently, right?
Than
Like
what he was when he was in St. Louis. Yeah.
right, yeah. So like that's the kind of thing. Like I don't think they should be messing with guys approach like swinging approach at the plate. Like maybe like look for this ball here from this pitcher, like sure. But like let the guys swing the way that's natural to them. And I'm really concerned that they're screwing up Jordan Walker by messing with his
We need to
swing too
get Jim
much.
Edmonds on here because he was saying a lot of the things you were just saying. But it was a lot of you can't change the way you swing the ball to try to like put the ball in the air because what happens is you drop your hips, you start bailing out of pitchers trying to angle the bat. He's like, all what you have to do, the only way you can change the way that you have to change the exit, what the launch angle. That's the word I'm looking for.
Right, launch
I was
angle.
like,
yeah.
but the only way to change accurately change the launch angle and keep power is you change where you hit the ball with the bat. You don't change the way you swing the bat.
Right.
So it's about where it contacts the barrel, not necessarily about how you swing the bat. And he was talking more and more. He's like, you either hit the ball hard or you don't. But he's like, if you try to do something that's not natural, he's like, yeah, maybe some of these real little guys, that helps them a little bit. But guys like, Jordan Walker, Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, they just need to put the bat on the ball.
Right.
And the rest is going to come.
Barrel the ball and just let them keep barreling it. And like, you hit the ball with the fattest part of the bat. And I mean, all three of those guys have excellent swing speed, right? Or at least they have historically. I'm a little concerned that Goldie might be losing some of his, but that's neither here nor there in this exact situation. But I don't know. I just relating it back to all the players that have performed decent to better than who we've replaced them with here. You do wonder if there is a problem with the organization and how it communicates and how it adapts to how the season is going with players, right? Hitting, I'm less concerned about, like what the coach does. I don't think a coach can really improve someone's batting, but I do think a coach can ruin someone's batting. And what I mean by that is if you're a major league field player, you can hit, right? It's either you can hit or you can't hit. And I think a coach can talk you out of the things that, have gotten you there. But I don't think that they're going to be able to do anything to teach you to be better or get you better, right? The reaction time that you need is so quick that I don't think there's really a lot of like improvement that you can do by this stage.
I agree, right? Like it's it's the hitting coaches in the major leagues is hey, you've always done this and now you're not and it's not working, right? If you want to make big changes to your swing, whatever, the off season's the time. If you go, you've got some private things. We know Goldie did that right before his MVP season. Okay, cool, right? Like it's like that kind of thing makes sense, but it may have been the year before his MVP season, but right in there, he went and changed some swing stuff, changed the bat, went to that bigger knobbed bat. I get it, right? Like there's good stuff there, but if you're wanting in just spring training and into the season you're already playing competitive baseball and you have to be able to perform, and you're not going to be able to perform if you're constantly overthinking everything you're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, what company was it? Both Nolan Arenado and Goldie, and I think actually Matt Carpenter, when he was like going to the Yankees, they went, I can't remember the name of the company. I'm trying to find it right now. They went to a company that like specializes, makes their own custom bats for a bunch of major league players, and they do the thing like kind of like what the video games do, right? When they're doing motion capture technology, they put you put on like a wetsuit type looking thing, and it's got balls all over it, and it measures all sorts
Sounds
of
like your
movement
Saturday
stuff.
night.
Tuesday night, really, but Saturdays as well if the opportunity arises. And they all did that, and I think that really helped Arenado for that one season, and it was Goldie's MVP season. But they do make these custom bats that are weighted appropriately for the guy's swing to help them basically get the barrel in the right spot more naturally. Now I cannot find that. I'm gonna have to look into that. It was a great article that I had read on it, and I cannot spend the
Game
rest
will
of this
resume
podcast
at
looking
11 a.m. tomorrow for the Cardinals, by the way. And I know you said you were looking at going, so maybe they'll let you in early.
I might have to call my in-laws and say, hey, do you want to watch your great-grandchild an hour earlier than originally intended? Because I want to watch 2 baseball games for the price of 1.
Right.
Actually, the price of none, because I got these tickets because I ran not fast, but faster than other people.
Oh, are they from the 5K?
Yeah.
Nice.
When I actually tied for second in my age group. I think that it only went to the seconds mark. I was technically listed as third, so I'm guessing that in the like microseconds, I was slower, but it doesn't report that on the website. Maybe
fine.
it's alphabetical. I don't know.
It could be that too.
Yeah.
Man, I got to run in that next year. I got to start running in general.
Come run with me. Be fit. Be healthy. Eliminate bad habits like alcohol. Like, you really shouldn't drink ever.
No, never drink. I mean, I've done good, man. I'm still down 30 pounds this year.
That's impressive. That's all bullshitting aside. That's really impressive.
I'm down 30 pounds. I've been exercising. The only reason we're recording as late as we are tonight is because I thought you weren't going to be ready later, so I thought I could squeeze in an extra workout.
Yeah, surprise, my toddler fell asleep in 10 minutes instead of an hour tonight. Which,
yeah, kids, man.
If you have kids, you know what I mean.
So the Orioles are one of the best teams in baseball right now.
They are.
And we took the first game. If we can somehow win the second game, and again, win 2 out of 3 of the Orioles, we're still going to be sitting, like 5 games below 500, 4 games below 500, something like that.
Right now, we are 5 games below 500. If we win
we'd be
one of those 2 games, we'd
stay at
4.
5.
Right. If we split the 2 games tomorrow, we would stay at 5, basically. Now, if we manage to win both games tomorrow, we're only 3. It's the same day. The problem is playing on different days.
We'll see. We also had Sonny Gray going last night to help us with the first one.
We did.
And the only reason they got 3 runs was because of 2 errors. Back-to-back errors, and then he gave up the home run after that.
Right. Which they were also like, and I don't know if it was like,
I'm not saying
all of a mental
errors,
thing.
But
no, but the errors happened at like the exact same time that he started to lose it. Right. And it was, what was it? It was the Santander at bat last night. Like, after that one's the one that he, waved Ollie over and was like, hey, it's gone. You got to take me out before this, like, we're winning. Like, let's not lose this game over my arm. And I got to say, like, I know some people who are like really old school would like call that weak or soft or whatever. When you have Sonny Gray's, I guess, history, right? Like, to back it up, like, I don't call that soft, right? I think I call that smart. He knows.
I call that smart, and it's also good for him. I think it's amazing to have a pitcher who is is going to go out and compete till he can't compete anymore.
Right.
And I guarantee if this was a playoff game, he wouldn't have done that.
Right. Well, and not only
Right?
that, but like your ace,
early in the
right? Not just any pitcher. This is the guy at the top of the lineup.
Early in the season, right? Do you want him straining and hurting himself right now? Like
No,
the fact that he did
not.
that, I love that he did that.
Well, and not just that, like I want to win. And if he says, hey, like I've, not necessarily saying going numb, but like I've lost my ability for tonight to place the ball where I want it and to get the movement I want, like it's time. Like a lot of guys don't have the ability to recognize that, or at least to take themselves out, even if they, subconsciously know. And that's when, like, if he had stayed in the game, like that game, we probably would have had that inning. Like they probably would have tied it up, right? And then it's a whole new ball game for the last 3 innings. But because he took himself out, we were able to get out of that inning without giving up any more runs and ended up winning the game. And I think that that's incredibly clutch of him and shows really great leadership, because normally the ace especially is not willing to come out of the game ever. Yeah. And I mean, that's why they're the ace, right? But
I mean, and let's be honest, nobody's built like Chris Carpenter anymore.
No, well, or we can take it even a step farther. Like, look at Bob Gibson, right? Like his 1967 season, like he pitched a complete game, like 26, 27 times and had like 20 shutouts, like just like an absurd stat that will never be matched.
But I mean, again, my favorite game in baseball to always rewatch. A lot of people our age always like, oh, Game 6, right? The Game 6 of the World Series. Mine is Game 5 of the NLDS.
God, damn it! Damn it!
I've already said it on this pod like 8 times.
Yeah, well, I forgot that, but I was gonna say that. I wouldn't have known the exact game, but it's Chris the game.
Carpenter.
It's Chris Carpenter against Roy Halladay, right? That's the game you're talking about.
We won 1-0 in Game 5 to move on, because we almost that was the first round of the playoffs, and the Phillies were the favorites for the World Series that year.
That was a good Phillies team. If I remember right, they won in the year before or 2 years before. 2 years before, because the year before us was the Yankees. Just so you know, the last World Series
the Yankees was 09. 09 was the Yankees.
I thought the Yankees were 10. I'll Google it. Let's keep talking.
So anyway, but that was the game. We manufactured a run early on. Rafael Furcal hit a triple. We hit a sac fly. That was it for us. But I mean, Carpenter diving head first to like tag first base to like beat the runner. I mean, just you could have gone out like, I swear to God, if LaRusso went out to 2010, I think was the Giants.
It was. Yeah, it was. That was the first of their 3 and 5 year stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Phillies were.
I was like, before you said it, I was like, I already. Yeah. So, but it's just, I would have been feared for LaRusso's life if he went out there and tried to take the ball from Carpenter.
Well, yeah, I mean, Chris Carpenter is one of the scariest human beings to ever play in MLB. I think the only guy who was probably scarier than him was Bob Gibson, who apparently was the nicest man off the field, but on the field,
you mean that guy?
The opposite. I don't. Oh yeah. Oh, I can see him. Yes. By the way, favorite Cardinal.
Bob Bet you wish you had. Yeah. This was a steal at a charity auction, like a silent charity auction thing that I got.
If you die, please bequeath that to me.
But I bid on it.
I need you to confirm this so that way I can murder you next week. Actually, I shouldn't make that joke, because if you die next week, that's going to look really suspicious.
No, but I bid. I think I bid like $100 for it, because it was sitting at like $80. But
Oh.
So nice. It was a big, so I've had it for a long time. It's pretty solid. I'd still need to get this old Coors Light beer tap off my wall, because I think I'm going to put up a shelf, because I've got signed pucks and baseballs to put over there.
Right. I've got a few more books I need to put right there. A few sitting in my nightstand that I just haven't dragged out to, complete the look, so that way I look like articulate and intelligent, like I read about like, factual sciencey things about sports.
All right. I need you to go on a rant. So I'm going to start with a question here because we've talked a lot about the Cardinals.
Okay.
Quick touch point because I don't want to spend too much time on it because I know I'm about to send you on a rant. But the Battlehawks did lose their second game of the season to the undefeated Birmingham Stallions. I'm hoping that we get another shot at them in the championship game because just this past weekend, the Battlehawks did win 26-21 and have clinched a playoff spot. So here we go. Caca. Next question.
Okay.
For you, I want you to list your top 3 most best players for St. Louis City this year and why.
Okay. Oh, so that's really not a rant. That's just me rambling on because I'm
That's
not
fine.
really
I'll tell you who
angry
mine
about
are
it.
when I
Yeah.
get back.
Okay, sure. Top 3 players, I think Totland and Durkin are 2 clear and obvious ones. Totland has just been absolutely phenomenal. He's made very, very few mistakes. He's involved in the attack. Durkin, kind of the same thing. He's everywhere. He's almost always got the most mileage of any player on either team. He's involved a little bit in the attack. He's had really clutch defensive plays. I will say in Cincinnati, he had one very bad giveaway. Cincinnati? LA. It was LA, I think. Boulanga's second goal was because of a Durkin giveaway. That was just a really soft touch. But other than that, those two have been lights out. Would absolutely say they've been our top 2 performers, which is funny because they're both the 2 of the 3 newest players on our team. Third player who I would say has been our best performer, other than Sensi, I would have said Celio. I think Alm has had a great season. I think Ostrak has been exceptional for our expectations of him after last season and the shoes that he has been asked to fill stepping in for Leuven this year. I think Berkey has obviously made some great saves and kept us in games that otherwise we wouldn't have. So I'd probably go Berkey as that. So that's Totland, Durkin, Berkey, all for defensive work rate. I don't know if you know this, but Leuven, who has not played since March the 9th, actually leads us in league play and great chances created. Hasn't played in 2.5 months. It's fucking awesome.
Also, this is why I ran away. Cracked open
Please.
s'more stout.
Oh, thank you. Take a good whiff.
Oh, I may not give you any of these.
I'll trade you. I tell you what. I think I have 2 more of the forehands ones, and one of them is chocolate marshmallow. I will bring you a chocolate marshmallow to make up for the fact that you give me 3 of those s'mores.
Yeah, no, they're good. You're gonna like it.
I know you can't have any of the almond joy ones because you might die, which is a sacrifice again that I'm willing to make for science. But your wife requires you to be alive, and you have kids, so maybe science is not the best.
Monetarily, I'm worth more dead than alive, and she knows this.
Technically,
so the fact that I'm still alive.
It's a great thought.
Right this instant, I'm worth more dead than alive.
Not if you, and I'm guessing you took a finance class now that you're like a highly educated master's in business administration guy. And I did put that in air quotes for those listening and not watching. I'm guessing you took a finance class, and in that finance class, they talked about the time value of money, in which case, no, your life insurance is probably no more than 10 years salary, and you will hopefully have 30-ish more years of your career. So you are not worth more dead than you are alive.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Business
I'm just
lawyer.
saying, but if you took it, right, and you invested that money, you pay off all your debt, you invest the rest of it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Because at that point, she can just invest the rest of it, right? I got enough in life insurance that you can pay off everything we owe debt-wise, and she's still going to cash out over $1 million. So,
that's pretty nice. I do miss that. I do miss that about my job prior to where I work now. I don't feel like giving my whole career away in case,
I gave way too much info just now because somebody's going to try to off me and get into marry Lindsay now.
Well, it won't be me. I'm already married. So, not me.
Unless you guys move to Utah. Nope. Oh, that's crossing the line. So,
Oh God.
Hey, there's a
Okay,
TV
moving
show
on from
about it.
Mormon jokes.
There's a TV show about it. We can joke about it.
I
And
could
the
tell you
Mormon
a
Church
lot
does
about that
not
TV show.
actually believe in that.
No,
I can
it's
tell you more
actually an
than I want
automatic
to.
excommunication
Mm-hmm.
if you practice it, which
It's kind of,
is
honestly, if
kind of
it's
a big deal.
if they use excommunication, does that make the Mormon Church kind of like the Continental? Excommunicado.
Oh,
There's thought for you.
there's a thinker for you. Please continue.
So-
Who are your top 3 City players?
Tottenham's my top performer of the year.
Absolutely.
Not even it's not close.
Sure.
I mean, offensively, defensively, the guy is a monster. He's, in my opinion, and from what I've seen and things, like I think he's the fastest guy on our team as well. And if he's not, it's not by much that he's slower.
Most games he records the top speed, but for our team. But if you think about it, the types of runs he has to make, like versus Sam Adeniran, who is the other guy who is the fastest guy on the team. And I do know that it is Sam Adeniran because I texted Mondo and I asked him, hey, when you met with Sam and AZ, did you ask who's faster? And he said, yes, they said it was Sam.
But that was
and
before Totland was on the team.
That was before Totland was on the team. That's true. That's true. But what I'm getting at here is if you look at the runs that Sam has to make, he normally has the ball at his feet. And so he has to slow down for the touches. Whereas Totland's runs are normally like, oh shit, I got to get back and block, a possible shot.
I get where you're coming at. Totland also plays so many minutes and so many meaningful plays. The guy's unreal.
Absolutely.
So, and that game winner, or was the not game winner, the
game tire,
the point saver against KC for his first goal was sweet.
Depending on how you think of it, I mean, it was it gave us a point and took 2 points from them. So it was kind of a 3-point swing on that goal. So it's kind of like a game winner. In that sense.
So my next player, and this is understanding that the Cincy game sucked for him, but it's Celio. And I'm biased here.
Yeah.
But I think he's
Celio's
been
had a very
best
good season.
I think he's been our best offensive creator this season. I think if Alm stays healthy and continues, I think Alm will surpass him as the best offense. If Alm,
yes and
the way that
they do it differently,
they create it different. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say. I think Alm is one of our most important players to be on the field.
Absolutely.
I'm not.
I think. Who do you think is better in the press, Alm or Celio? I lean towards Alm.
I think like in their third, I would say Alm. I would say midfield and back, I would say Celio. As we're pressing.
Okay.
But I think Alm does a better job of the really high press than Celio does, and getting on his horse when he needs to.
Yeah.
But I think that'll come with time with Celio.
Yeah. Okay. Who's your third?
My third, I know you said Berkey, and I love Berkey. And he's made some stupid saves to keep us in games, but I actually had a tie for third. And you listed both of them, but I had Durkin and Ostrak.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing about Ostrak. I don't think we need to talk anymore about Durkin. Like, if you watch the games, you know how clutch Durkin has been for us. I think Ostrak has been a little underrated by this fan base, both based off of last year, but even this year, I think a lot of what he does goes unnoticed. He doesn't really carry the ball. He doesn't really win a lot of tackles. And when you think that he's replacing Leuven makes a lot of really just absurd passes and is also very, very smooth on the ball. I think his skills dribbling are vastly ignored and underrated for Leuven. But for Ostrak, one of the things he does exceptionally well, if you get on a website like FBref that compares him to other midfielders, is he's one of the best progressive passers in leagues comparable to MLS. He does not pass that often, and that's partly because I don't think he really gets the ball that much. But when he gets the ball, he makes exceptionally good passes consistently. And I think he's rather good in the press in the sense that when he presses highly, he makes great plays happen, like that one where he took the ball off Ricky Pouge, like practically in the penalty box, right, against LA Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And Ostrak has played well enough that, if Leuven is fit and is back, I don't know if I am wanting to put Ostrak on the bench. But the problem is I don't know which of the three attacking midfielders I'm taking off. I do think that I want Ostrak as like the central attacking midfielder. I don't think I want him on the wing. And then that bumps Indy to the wing. And I don't know if I want him replacing Celio or Alm, or if I just want to rotate the three of them based on fitness and who's feeling good and how we think we can exploit the team.
I think you have to use those four as your three attacking with a single striker, and you rotate.
Yeah.
I think that's what you have to do. And if if one of them shows that maybe they can't hang with the other three, then that's who becomes your bench guy.
Right.
But for the time being, you give all three of them equal shots.
Yeah.
Ostrak's going to be in the middle. If Ostrak's not starting that day, then it's got to be Indy.
Yeah.
And you've got Ostrak to bring in, and again, and then you can rotate, and then Indy can play all three. Indy's the most versatile there.
Yeah. And Celio can play on either wing, and I think he would be very good centrally. We just haven't used him that way. Alm is pretty much stuck on the right wing, right? I think that's pretty clear that he's a wing player.
I don't think Alm. I think out of the four of them, Alm probably, in my mind, has the biggest lock on his position, on his starting spot.
I would say that's probably accurate. Yeah, he is the one I am least likely to take off of those four. I would say that's accurate. Yeah. I also think, and I don't care which of those four is coming off the bench, like all four of them are going to bring a high amount of energy for whenever you bring them in. And if you bring them in the 60th minute and you tell, like, if you pre-plan who's coming off, especially, and you say, hey, the plan today for you is you are going 45 to 60 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just go all out, right? 60 minutes is within all four of those guys' wheelhouse in terms of playing hard. And then you bring whoever the last one is for the last 30 minutes of the game, and they're monsters. All of them are. When they know they only have to run hard for 30 minutes.
It's the same thing I wish we would do more of with Big Sam.
Yeah, but okay, the problem isn't that we should do more of it with Big Sam. The problem is that Sam should do more of it when he's in the lineup, right?
No, I agree, but I think it's the same mindset, right? Is when Big Sam, if Klaus is, and it's more subbing. We don't sub Klaus out very often, but it's if you bring Big Sam on in the 65th to 75th minute, and he's got 15 to 20 minutes plus stoppage to just run rampant. It's how do you use that? Like, is he actually coming in and running his ass off the whole time? I'll be, and I'm not the only one who said it, but I won't be the only one who will ever say this, but I don't want to see Sam and Klaus start together.
Absolutely not. It does not work. We've seen it plenty of times. It's just not anything that actually goes well together. I've actually got FB Ref open right now because I'm very curious for Cedric. I'm going to say Tukert, even though I know that's not how his name is actually pronounced. I'm not 100% certain on how it is pronounced with that CH, because the CH tends to be more of like a soft sound in German instead of a hard sound like it is for us. I think it's something more like Toyert, but that's, I'm not very good at German. Spoiler alert. And I'm curious right now if he's similar to Nico, and he's really not actually similar to Nico at all. And the reason why I'm looking that up is, of course, Nico played very, very well with Klaus. And they are not the same player. Now, granted, I don't know how the second Bundesliga compares to MLS either. The only thing Toyer does extremely well is touches in the attacking penalty box, which is fine. If he's going to be in the 90th percentile for touches in the attacking penalty box, I think that's really good. I think that's, you look at Celio, that's part of what makes Celio so good. that and successful take-ons, which Toyota is not that great about. But doesn't matter. Klaus and Sam do not work together. What we need is either a central attacking midfielder or a second striker who fits well with Klaus, who they can play, Klaus can play hold up and find the good incisive pass to break the line and spring someone else on goal, and someone else who can, Klaus does a great job of finding strong positions. We just need someone to feed him the ball well enough that he can take a clean shot. And for him to be able to
finish.
True, but sometimes some of those shots they've been very bad, but they've also been not great balls either. Sometimes.
As a whole, like, our striking ability this year has just looked off.
I would agree.
Yeah, and God, I feel, and the Cincy game in AZ laid out for that header, which was the best play he made all night because he didn't really do anything else. But when
that
AZ
header,
laid out for that
header had gone in, I was like that's awesome.
And the worst part is that, like, he was trying to catch the goalie off guard and go far post, which is what he should have done because the goalie's momentum was going the other way. But the goalie saw him staring at the far post and stopped his run,
right?
Which cut off the far post, and it was one of those, like,
he ended up having to send it wide because that was the only angle he had. Yeah,
instead of, and it turns out, like, because he essentially telegraphed where he was going, that he would have been better for him to just headed it straight forward. But that was the best mark. Coach keeps starting AZ. He keeps bringing AZ in off the bench. Where do you see when Leuven's healthy? And we just talked about the foursome that we like at the top, across the top three. Where does AZ fit?
Okay, well, AZ is number 5 of the top 3, right? And I think most games you're subbing at least 2 of those 3 out, and AZ is the second of the 2 subs. Pretty consistently, and you and I have detailed often why we feel that way about AZ. I don't think we need to rehash that.
I'm not here to, like, get into the nitty gritty. I'm trying to figure out where you feel like he fits.
If you think of the attacking midfielders, the guys who can play either the left mid, the central attacking mid, or the right mid, AZ is clearly number 5 on that list. I think Kojima is probably your sub for Leuven some games. I think other games you actually sub Bloman for Leuven and have Durkin play as the box-to-box midfielder. And I think that's just kind of how I see it. I would give AZ a massive stock down from the start of the season. And I think you and I kind of had some of these concerns about him last year too. I think we said some of these same things last year. I think Sam is a stock down from the beginning of the year. And I think Nicholas Dewar is a massive stock down from what we were expecting.
After actually seeing him play, it was not encouraging.
I will say he played very, very well off the bench against LA Galaxy. He was very good. And that
was a really great game. That's what got me really excited about him.
Yes.
But watching him against Cincy, and again, Cincy's a very, very good team. So it could have been just a rough game to make your first full start against. But I mean, Celio was the guy that was getting back before he was. And there was one of those plays where they were coming screaming down the field.
And you could
see Dewar jogging and casually jogging in the back. I was furious.
So I mean, you and I have watched a lot of sports together, right? I am not a guy who angry yells at the TV. Like, I mean, I am a little bit more passionate at soccer than I am, like, say, at baseball. Like, baseball, I'm very dispassionate. And I think at football, I'm very dispassionate. Well, yeah, but that's not. Playoffs don't count. Everything goes out the window for playoffs.
You want to talk about playoffs?
I was angry yelling at the TV for Dewar, and like so much that I was like, why the fuck aren't you running? Fucking run! Like, you can see the guy
Lindsay
that he should be marking.
Lindsay and I were getting livid.
Right. And I mean, I think, who did we play after Galaxy? I'm trying to find the game. DC. He started against DC, and he got subbed off at half, I think, in that game too.
But
And
he didn't
he
look
did not.
terrible in that game.
Yeah, he didn't look great.
He
though.
didn't look good, but he didn't look terrible.
Not as bad as he looked against Cincy. And the thing about Cincy was he made some good plays. What took him out against Cincy was more effort type things that you like. I didn't feel like he was tracking back as fast as I feel like he could be tracking back. There was that play where Lucho Acosta got free on the goal and he just stops running and is ball watching Berkey try to, close off the goal against Acosta. And then, he takes a step. He takes a very late step like that. And it's like, okay, you can't play for this team if you're not going all out the whole time. You just saw what happened with Sam. Right. That should
and again, and kudos to, and I know a lot of people we were ripping Celio, like, why'd he make that foul? And I'm like, Celio should have never been the guy in that position.
I agree with that. I do agree that it was a foul. He should not have made that.
It was a foul and he shouldn't have done it.
But it was also the weakest fucking pin. Yeah. That was like, and like you and I have said a lot. And the worst part
is the week before Celio got like freaking like halfway like molested and tried to fight through it and got a terrible angle shot off or pass, and then they didn't give a pen. And I'm like, that was more of a foul than what just happened to Acosta.
Right. Well, or even the one that AZ got run through the back in the box, right? We didn't get a pen for that, right? It is frustrating, especially like when you look at like the end of the LA game and then you look at the Cincy game. You and I have long said you can only play the game that's called. I do think both of those games did have strong influences from the refereeing. That sucks, but it is what it is. I wanted to ask you, did you see Lutz like after the LA game, like screaming at the referees?
No, I did not. But it doesn't
I'll see if I can find
me.
the video again and send it to you. Like he like confronts them on the field and is just like screaming at them about the way they called the LA game, which was ridiculous. LA game was
bogus. I've tried to skip over that whole game because I have nothing to take away from it because of the way it was called.
Yeah, I agree.
The only takeaway I have is Klaus needs to stop doing his goddamn stutter bullshit on his PKs.
I mean, so I was telling Mondo this. I said, I watched him step up and I'm like, okay, his last PK, he did that normal Brazilian thing where he stutter steps, right? And I'm like, Hugo Lloris has seen it all, right? Like this guy has won a World Cup. He's not going to give a shit.
He's been in the PKs in a World Cup.
Right. Like he's going to jump whichever way he feels like he needs to jump, and he's not going to do it until you like come up to kick the ball. And I was like, Lloris is going to block this. Sure enough.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly what happened. And I was just like, cool. And
I was just like, God, we need Leuven right now.
Right. Because even Sam, right? Both of them take their pens the same way, which is they're going to put as much muscle into the ball as they can and just try to power it past the keeper, which is a great strategy.
As long as you can control that, yeah.
Right. Yeah. If you can, if you can put it on frame, because even if they get an arm on it, right, the ball is rolling and your arm is curved. It's going to roll over under your arm most of the time. So,
well, I mean, yeah. It disgusted me to watch it. I hate it when people do that goofy ass stutter thing and I'm a huge Messi fan and he's done that a few times. So I'm like, Messi, don't. Just go kick the ball.
Right. Messi, come on. Don't even pretend like you can't just place it in the top corner at will.
Like you're just going to put it where you want it anyway, man. Just stop. Right. Don't be an ass.
You're just, yeah, right. That's exactly what it is. You're just making them look stupid because why not? As if like you just kicking the ball like you normally do doesn't already make everyone look stupid.
Like, stop showing off. God damn it.
Right. God damn it. I hate watching you play soccer.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's like, when I got I've been I've been a Barca fan since I was little. I've been cheering for Barca and, watching the different guys come up through Barca through the years and then, watching the Ronaldinho handing over to Messi and, we've got, some good guys again now with Gavi and things over at Barca. But
Gavi and Pedri are just okay. I will say this: Gavi and Pedri are two of my absolute favorite players to watch. And I mean, like, that, like, as far as La Liga goes,
well,
like,
and
I like Barca.
my mom's side of the family is heavily Polish.
I did
so
know
of
that,
course,
yes. Lewandowski, right?
Yeah.
Isn't he Polish? Yeah.
So
Okay.
having the best Polish striker to ever live is a nice touch on
That's
top
a nice
for
touch. Let me ask you a couple of questions here. Okay, not St. Louis related. And by the way, if you're only following because we're St. Louis focused, you can end now and come back in a few minutes if we bring it back. I don't really care. Which club is more of a clusterfuck? Chelsea or Barcelona? Yeah.
You're a dick.
I know. If you guys don't know, my primary club that is not St. Louis City is Chelsea in the Premier League. I do like other teams a lot, but
I'm going to
it's
be
primarily
honest.
Chelsea.
I think Chelsea's in a bigger shithole.
Yeah.
I think Barca's got a weird financial situation they need to work out of, but they've got young studs and they know where they're headed.
Right.
I don't know where the hell Chelsea's going.
Right. I think Chelsea has had a very good financial plan, but the thing that's so frustrating is, we're switching our coach again. This is our, like, I think 6th manager in 5 years. And there's just, like, the consistency of it. And we finally have looked good, and it's been very frustrating. Next question for you. You're watching the Euros, right? Because you don't care about the Copa America because you're anti-American. You're watching the Euros. It was sarcasm, by the way. You don't have to.
I'm listening. Like I'm still listening. I just want to make faces at you when you're trying to talk.
Oh, that's fine. Which team are you supporting
in the Euros?
Yeah, like you're like watching the Euros for like no real reason other than you want to watch a lot of high level teams play against each other. Which team do you think you're rooting for the most?
Who are you rooting for?
I probably lean towards Germany. A lot. I think I've said before, at least offline to you, that my mom's family has a pretty large German heritage influence. That's probably where I lean. Assuming honestly, also that I'm not rooting for Denmark.
I've always had Germany. If I'm rooting for a team I think that might have a chance to win, it's usually the Netherlands, because I always enjoy Netherlands because they are always surprise the hell out of people.
Yeah. Yeah,
and they're a fun team to watch. Back when Van Persie was playing for them, oh man, I love watching him play.
Yeah.
But so if I had to pick a team, I'd probably go Netherlands. If I'm going for a team that, like, I don't care whether they win or lose, obviously, I typically go Scotland, even though they're terrible, or Poland.
That's fair. That's fair. I also Denmark
my dad's side of the family, outside of the Edwards piece, was McLeod. So
I didn't know that.
I can pull that card whenever people are like, "Why'd you name your kids Oliver and Ewan? Is Ewan from Star Wars?" No, it's Scottish.
Right. My mom's family is more heritage-wise, like in terms of the traditions that have survived, German, but her maiden name is actually Danish, which is why Denmark is the other team that I like to somewhat follow. Okay. Should we talk Copa America? Speaking of,
bring it on.
Copa America. Okay,
let's do it.
I'm guessing you saw the roster.
For the friendlies.
Yeah. A pre-tournament roster, which is going to be the tournament roster with -1 person. Yeah. What'd you think? How do you feel about that roster?
It's all right.
Yeah. Any changes that you would make or anything like that?
I can't argue with the roster they went with, one way or the other. My biggest thing is that with Serginho Dest potentially battling injury through this and not being available, by which I mean he won't be available.
Not potentially, like, absolutely is not playing.
Yeah, I know.
Just wanted, for our listeners who don't necessarily watch soccer, like I just wanted to clarify that for them. Yeah, I know you know that. But please continue.
But I'm intrigued to see what we do there.
Yeah.
I think Tim Weah is the person they're going to put there, and I think that's the person who probably can handle it best at a high level. But I have a hard time because Tim Weah is so good up top.
So I disagree with you. So we're talking about the right back position for the U.S. men's national team.
And
I
tends to play
disagree
more of
with
a
you.
wing back, plays up, right? So
Yes, but he has
similar to
played
the way
right back.
So think of the way that
Well,
Totland plays
right,
for City fans, right?
right. So I mean, at club level, Tim Weah plays primarily right wing back, but he has played right back. He has played very little right winger, which is where we play him almost exclusively. I do think I agree that Tim Weah is the best option to play that position. I don't think that's what Greg is going to do. I have a feeling it will be Joe Scally. I know we played. Was it after Dest? Was it when Dest was getting his red card suspension? I think they put McKinney there at some point. I didn't hate the way we played with McKinney there. I think it will. I think our best options are either McKinney or Weah. I think it will probably be Joe Scally, who I think got absolutely burned against Mexico, like repeatedly the last time we saw him. I'm not a fan of that option. He
was the one person I didn't feel like needed to be on the roster.
Well, and Shaq Moore is on the roster, right? Who has got to be below Joe Scally. Now, Shaq Moore is different than Joe Scally, right? Shaq Moore has more speed. Shaq Moore, it plays more like Cotland, I think. Maybe with a little bit less offensive involvement, but he's very much a very good one-on-one defender, and he's very fast. So, whatever. And in fact, the fact that Shaq Moore is involved in this roster makes me think like there's a legit chance that Totland could work his way in if he keeps playing as well as he has.
For those of you who don't know, Totland has dual citizenship, so he can play for Team USA.
He has not been. He's not played for the senior team for either the U.S. or Norway, so he's eligible for both teams. I will say there's higher quality depth at his position for Norway than there is for the U.S. So his path to playing is more consistent with the U.S. I think the U.S. is a better overall team than Norway.
Yes,
but they are better at right back than we are. They are also better at striker than we are as well.
Why is that?
Because they have the son of Thor playing at striker.
Yeah. That guy.
That guy.
For those of you who don't know, Erling Haaland, who is the best player on the planet right now, plays for them.
And also, if you want to know why the Vikings pillaged Europe for fun for like half a millennia, it's because they all looked like Erling Haaland a millennia ago.
Yeah, look at Erling Haaland go up against any of the other European players and be like, oh, wow, he's manhandling them. Oh, and he's attacking. Oh, is that what the Vikings did?
Yes, exactly. I think the other surprise to me was Timmy Tillman in midfield, who's an LAFC midfielder. I don't think Tillman is a better choice than Leonard Maloney, who plays in the Bundesliga as a defensive midfielder. Mm-hmm. I don't think he was a better choice to bring than who was it? Alexandre Zendejas, who's a winger for Club America in Mexico, who has had a very good season. And if you're going to pull Tim Weah out of the winger position, you might want more depth at winger. And if Tyler Adams can't play as much as you would want, I think Leonard Maloney is probably a better fit in the midfield. Tyler
Adams had fucking banger against Mexico, though.
He did. And I could go down this list with like a few more players. I did hear a theory today that Timmy Tillman is the most like Gio Reyna. And so if you're thinking that you're going to pull Gio Reyna out to the wing and you want, or, his injury history, if you want a more like for like sub for him, Timmy Tillman might be the guy for that. For these pre-Copa America friendlies, we have 27 people on the team. Only 26 of them can make the actual tournament, so someone is getting cut. My money is on Shaq Moore or Timmy Tillman, myself.
Yeah, no, I'm with that. I still think Tim Weah should be your guy at right back. He's played the wing back. That's what should happen. If that's not what happens, I'm going to be upset. But And I'm also biased. Way as one of my favorite players, if not my favorite player on the Team USA. So
I wouldn't say he's my favorite, but I really enjoy watching him play.
I'm trying to think of somebody I like more. Maybe I love Tyler Adams too, but
I was going to say I definitely like watching Tyler Adams more than
when he's healthy. Yeah, but he's been out for so long. I don't know.
That's not the question though. The question is when everyone is healthy, who do you like? Who's your favorite player on the team to watch play? And Tyler Adams is my number one. I get very closely by Pooley. Very close.
By who?
Pulisic.
Okay. Everyone loves watching Pulisic play, right? But
it's kind of a cop-out question.
It is. Or answer. But no, I think Tim Weah is probably the guy I get most excited to see play.
Yeah, I mean, he's a very dynamic player.
Most exciting player is different, and I'd have to say Serginho Dest. Because you never know what you're going to
get. Yeah, you have no idea what's going to happen. And right. I think you could make that case also for Gio Reyna, right? Like I think it was in the Nations League finals. Like he just he was getting a high press from like several different directions against Mexico, and he just like did the little spin around dribbling the ball, and like somehow suddenly he's like by himself in midfield, and then like right after that he took a knee to the thigh or wherever and got hurt last summer. But I think he's very enjoyable to watch whenever he's not having a hissy fit. I do like Weston McKennie a lot too.
Yeah, I was like, McKennie's up there.
McKennie's got some swag to him. Like he doesn't care. Him and Tyler are always willing to throw down. And like a team needs that. A team needs guys that are like that. And I will say Dest is also always willing to throw down, but he doesn't do it smart. Right?
Dude, you know who else is really entertaining to watch? And mainly really entertaining to watch in like the CONCACAF type competitions, because he's always like, what the fuck? Is Balogun. And like his reactions to what's going on.
Because he's still learning what CONCACAF is like. Yeah. Because Folarin Balogun is American by birth, but he's one of those who is not American culturally, because he grew up in Europe, I think in England mostly.
He's England kid.
And he did not commit
and he played
early
for the
to the
England,
US. Yeah,
he played for the England
youth system.
Youth teams.
Yeah. But was a late commit relatively to the U.S. national team. So he's still very caught off by the antics that occur in CONCACAF play, which are unique among the world.
Man, I just, anytime something ridiculous is happening, I always like start scanning the TV to find Balogun and his reactions.
Right. Well, and it's always funny because like anymore, it feels like if something crazy is going on, they just like cut to Balogun's face and he's just like, the fuck is going on right now? Like always. I will say, outside of Pulisic, who do you think is the best player at their position for the men's national team?
Oh.
I have a clear answer, but I don't know if you have this answer. I have two really clear answers, I think.
Best player at their position. Gio Reyna is incredibly underrated. When his head is on straight, he's one of the best in the world.
I think as far as talent and potential goes, I think he probably has the highest ceiling in the men's national team pool now.
But if I were to just say this guy is best at their spot right this second, it'd be tough to go against, when are you saying when healthy or just right this instant?
Just everyone's healthy and everyone is playing, regularly. If you compare them to their peers at their position, outside of Christian Pulisic, who I think is an obvious answer as being the best player on this team, like based on right now talent and ability, who would you like say next?
Probably Tyler Adams or Weston McKennie.
I would agree with Tyler Adams. I would not agree with Weston McKennie, who I think is a good player. I think Christian Pulisic and Tyler Adams are close to being elite at their position.
Yeah, I would put Balogun in that same conversation with Pulisic, and closer to. Yeah, he's a lot better than people realize.
I mean, I agree with that. I don't think we've seen that for the national team, and I don't think he has had that great of a club season, but I think he has the potential there. I was actually going to say Anthony Robinson, Jedi, is you can make a case that he is one of the best left backs in the world. There's a good chance he's going to be on the like all Premier League team for this past season. He's very consistent for us. He always plays. So that's who I was going to go with. But Tyler Adams is also a great option.
Tyler Adams would be my first pick. I would, and part of the thing with Jedi is Jedi plays on that same side with Weston, typically.
Yeah.
And the way that those two play off of each other is very good. Now, I think Jedi's probably the better player, but the more I think, as you said that, you kind of like, I don't know about Weston. The more I think about it, I'm like, I think some of Weston's screw ups get covered up by Jedi, so you don't notice them as much as where I was headed with that. I was like, I think because of that, you just
right.
But I like McKinney. I
love Weston McKinney. He's. I mean, Tyler Adams is probably my favorite player in the pool, other than Christian Pulisic. But my third favorite player in the pool right now to watch or just to like do anything with is Weston McKinney. Like, yeah. And honestly, out of all the guys in the men's national team, if you were to say like, hey, you could go have a beer with this guy, who are you picking? I'm like, Weston McKinney for sure. I don't know what we're getting into. I hope Serginho Dest is coming as well because it's going to be a crazy night.
I'm going to need somebody to be able to throw down.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, Dest is ready to throw down. I just don't know if he's good at it.
Yeah. You know what? It's all about the illusion, the distraction. You can get out while he's acting like he's going to like he's pretending. Even if he can't throw down, he's going to start it. You guys can get the hell out.
That's right. This is the distraction while everyone else bails. Absolutely. I kind of feel bad saying that. But no, that's right. Oh man. I have nothing else that I have to say.
While we're talking about fun, while we're talking about sports, so if you guys don't follow the Blues Fan Forum podcast, please give them a look up and take a peek. They have become Panthers fans for the playoffs, and the Panthers are in the Eastern Conference semis. If you don't know the reason, at least what I assume the reason to be is Matthew Tkachuk, who's a St. Louis native, so it's easy to cheer for him and cheer him on. And obviously his dad, Keith Tkachuk, is a St. Louis Blues great. Maybe someday we can get both sons, Matthew and Brady Tkachuk, here to St. Louis, but that's probably a pipe dream. But, nobody said I couldn't dream.
One can hope.
You know what? That's the second thing I'm going to do if I win $1 billion in Powerball. I'm going to offer each of the Tkachuks $50 million to come take a discounted contract here at with the Blues.
You know what I might do?
Under the table as spokespeople for the Lounatics podcast. So it would be an endorsement deal.
Absolutely. I want to buy whatever Stan Kroenke considers dearest and then just destroy it, which might be Arsenal.
That was my next thing. Was there's other playoffs going on? Do you know who just got knocked out of the playoffs in the last round?
The Avs just got
the Denver Nuggets and the Avalanche both got knocked out.
Right. And last weekend, Arsenal bottled the Premier League. They were in pole position until the last week, and then they ended up losing the league to Man City, which feels gross, but is better than Arsenal. Erling Haaland, right. Never mind the other 10 world-class players they have in their starting lineup.
Erling Haaland.
Erling Haaland is why they won.
Most importantly, all three of Kroenke's teams just absolutely shit the bed at the end of the season. And with that, Stan Kroenke, we hate you. Good night, everyone.